The stars shined bright over the galaxy. Ships from hundreds of alien worlds floated together near a giant space station called Unity Prime. It was the 50th anniversary of the Galactic Peace Treaty, a day when war ended and peace began among the stars. There was music in the air. Lights danced in every color. Giant domes held floating dancers from low-gravity planets. Robots served drinks that bubbled and glowed. Everyone was happy. Aliens of all shapes and sizes celebrated together. For the first time in years, the galaxy felt truly safe. But not everyone was calm. Caro, the young historian, Caro, a young alien with soft green skin and glowing eyes, stood on the upper platform of the festival hall. He was a junior historian, just 23 years old in Earth years. He had studied galactic history all his life. This was his first big event. He took notes on his holographic pad, watching diplomats from every star system shake hands, laugh, and exchange gifts. But something was missing. "Where are the humans?" he whispered. Earth had joined the Alliance 40 years ago. They were famous for their technology and their powerful warships. Humans were often loud, bold, and emotional, but today they were quiet. Their ships hadn't arrived yet. Their seat at the ceremony table was empty. The master of ceremonies speaks. A tall insectoid leader called Zertal raised all four arms and buzzed into the mic. "Today, we celebrate peace, 50 years without war, 50 years of unity. May our trust grow stronger." The crowd cheered. But Caro noticed something strange. The security guards around the station started moving quickly. They whispered into their headsets. Some of them looked nervous. Caro looked up at the main screen above the festival stage. A small red dot appeared on the radar map. Then another, and another. "Incoming ships. Unregistered ships entering the field," said a voice over the speakers. Everyone stopped. The music faded. The laughter ended. On the giant screen, 20 large red markers appeared. They moved fast. Very fast. They dropped out of hyperspace like falling stars, one after the other in perfect formation. Caro's eyes widened. That's the Terran Navy," he said quietly. Someone near him gasped. "Warships? At a peace festival?" The ships were huge, black and silver shaped like spears with red glowing engines and cannons on both sides. Each one could destroy a city. The largest was the TNS Vengeance, Earth's most feared battleship. The human ships didn't send a greeting. They didn't answer hails. They just surrounded the space station slowly, blocking every exit path. Fear spreads inside the station. Panic started to spread. "What are they doing? Is this a mistake? Why are their guns charged?" The celebration turned quiet. The music stopped completely. Lights dimmed. Children were pulled close by their parents. Ambassadors began sending emergency messages back to their home worlds. Some ships in orbit tried to leave, but they turned back when they saw Earth's fleet forming a wall around the area. It felt like a trap. Caro didn't move. He couldn't. His legs were frozen. He stared at the warships, still silent, still watching. Then, the screen changed. The message A single Earth symbol appeared on every screen. It was the flag of Earth, blue and white, with the image of a human hand holding a flame. Then came a voice. It was calm, clear, but cold. "This is Admiral Cassandra, Wren of the United Terran Navy. No one will be harmed unless provoked. Stay calm. Remain where you are. We seek truth, not war." The message ended. No explanation. No reason why they were there. Just those words. We seek truth, not war. But truth about what? Caro's decision. Caro knew something was wrong. The humans weren't acting like invaders. They weren't firing, they weren't giving orders, but they also weren't friendly. He ran to the upper observatory, the one used by historians and reporters. He wanted a better view. As he reached the top, he looked out the glass dome into space. The Earth ships floated like silent giants. Their weapons were glowing, powered and ready, but not firing. Caro zoomed in with his lens. He saw Earth soldiers standing at their windows, staring back at the station. One of them was a child, A small girl in a military uniform, maybe 10 years old. She held a teddy bear and looked straight into the lens. Caro's heart skipped. "What is going on?" he whispered. Something feels wrong. Below him, the diplomats were arguing. Some said Earth must be punished. Others said to talk first, ask questions. But no one had answers. The humans had always been strong, but they had also always kept peace. They had helped fight pirates, protect colonies, share medicine and technology. They had never broken a treaty. So why now? Why appear without warning? Why at a peace festival? Why armed? Caro looked again at the child in the window of the Earthship. She was crying. The tension builds. An emergency meeting began in the command dome. Every ambassador argued. Some wanted to send warships to push Earth back. Some said Earth might be trying to uncover a secret. Some feared this was a power move, Earth showing the galaxy who's boss, but no one truly knew. Caro recorded everything. His fingers shook as he typed. Then his comm link beeped. A message from a hidden unknown sender. It said only 7 words. They lied. "The past is not dead." Caro stared at the words. He looked back at the human ships. He felt a deep fear, but also curiosity. This was not an invasion. It was something else. Something buried. Something dark. The station called Unity Prime no longer felt like a place of celebration. It felt like a cage. Earth's warships floated outside like silent hunters. Their weapons still glowed red. Their shields were active, but they had not fired. Not yet. Inside, fear was growing like a virus. Caro watches. Caro sat alone in the upper observation deck, eyes locked on the largest ship, TNS Vengeance. The child he had seen earlier was gone now. The windows were dark. Below him, the celebration floor had turned into a command zone. Tables were gone. Decorations were being taken down. Leaders were shouting into communication devices. Families were being escorted back to their ships. But the exits were still blocked. Earth wasn't letting anyone leave. The question burned in every mind. Why? The silence for hours, the human fleet said nothing. They hovered in place. No new messages, no movement. Not even a warning shot. Alliance. Command kept trying to talk to them. No answer. Some believed Earth was bluffing. Others feared something worse. That Earth had discovered a secret the Alliance didn't want revealed. Tensions were high. Any small mistake could start a war. A group of security ships from the Vresh Dominion moved closer to Earth's line. The humans locked targeting systems. The Vresh pulled back. No shots fired. But it was close. Too close. Caro gets curious. Caro couldn't sit still. He knew this moment would be recorded in history. But he didn't just want to write it. He wanted to understand it. He slipped past the crowd and made his way down a service tunnel, one used by engineers and journalists. It led to the lower levels of Unity Prime. He moved quickly, quietly. He wanted answers. Strange energy. Near the core of the station, Caro stopped. There was a strange sound like a low hum. He peeked into a small control room. 2 engineers stood near a wall panel. A light blinked red on the screen. "What is that?" one asked. "I don't know," said the other. "It's not Alliance tech." Caro stepped closer. "What did you find?" he asked. They jumped. The older engineer narrowed his eyes. "You shouldn't be down here, historian. I won't touch anything, I just want to understand." The younger one sighed. "It's a data capsule. We think it's human, but it's not broadcasting. It's just there. Hidden," the older one added. "Buried deep in the station systems." Caro's heart raced. Why would a human device be hidden in the peace station? The first real message. Suddenly, a loud beep came from the main comms deck above. Caro, now joined by 2 security officers, rushed to the central hall. Every screen turned black. Then a message appeared, simple white text on a black background. "Don't trust them. Protect the children." That was all. No voice, no name, no sender ID, just 7 words. Panic returns. The message hit the station like a thunderbolt. What? Children? Who sent it? Was it a threat or a warning? Some diplomats shouted that Earth was lying. Others said the Alliance had hidden something in the past. The panic returned. Alarms sounded again. Soldiers moved into position. Many species activated personal shields. Medical teams began scanning for poison or bombs, but still, Earth ships remained silent, watching, waiting. Caro's mission. Caro ran back to the control room near the hidden device. I want to access the capsule, he told the engineers. That's military equipment. I don't care. This might be the answer to everything. He showed them his historian credentials. He had top clearance for ancient records and language systems. Reluctantly, they let him work. The capsule was locked with an old Terran encryption system, not used in over 30 years. Caro called for an Alliance AI translator. It took 12 minutes to decode the first file. Then the screen lit up with video. The footage Caro watched in silence. Children, human children, in cold, sterile rooms, crying, hooked up to machines. Some asleep, some not. Alien scientists stood nearby. They wore Alliance uniforms. Caro felt sick. The file continued. Notes showed that these experiments happened 34 years ago, during the early days of Earth's membership in the Alliance. The humans had filed reports. The Alliance claimed the scientists were arrested. Earth accepted that answer, but clearly the truth had been buried. The device contained full records, names, locations, medical reports, recordings of communications. This was the truth Earth came for. A hidden betrayal. Caro stepped back from the screen, his hands shaking. This wasn't just an old scandal. This was a betrayal. The Alliance had promised justice, but someone in power had erased the truth. Maybe more than one. And now, the humans had returned for answers, for justice, or for revenge. Whispers in the shadows. News of the message, "Protect the children," spread fast. Protests started inside the station. Some species demanded full access to records. Others tried to shut down communication links. But it was too late. Someone had leaked the message to the outer colonies. On a screen nearby, Caro saw a news channel from a border world showing the footage. Millions were watching. The secret was out. The calm. Before the storm, Caro returned to the upper dome. He looked out at the warships once again. They hadn't moved. Not one. But now he saw them differently. They weren't invaders. They were witnesses. Judges waiting for the trial to begin. Below him, the celebration hall was now a battlefield of words. Diplomats shouted. Soldiers stood ready. And in the center of it all, a hidden history threatened to tear the galaxy apart. The celebration was long gone. The bright lights, the music, the dancing. Now just memories under flickering overhead bulbs. Unity Prime, once a shining symbol of peace, had turned into a nest of fear and tension. And deep below its surface, a secret waited. Caro holds the truth. Caro sat alone in a data chamber with the human device unlocked in front of him. On the screen, images of human children in pain. Scientists, alien, cold, emotionless, taking blood samples, recording brain, waves running long and strange tests. Caro's hands trembled. He had seen terrible things in old war records. But this was different. These were not enemy children. These were citizen children, born under Alliance protection, promised safety, and betrayed. The file logs were clear. The experiments happened on Alliance-controlled labs. The children were never returned. Some were marked as non-surviving test units. Caro felt sick. The message was real, the warning Earth had sent. Don't trust them, protect the children. Was not a threat. It was a final call, a last chance to face the truth before justice came in the form of warships. Caro backed up the data to a secure line. He had to tell someone, but who could he trust? He thought of Admiral Wren, the human. Who sent the message? What if Earth had waited all this time hoping for change? What if they only came now because the Alliance never acted? The hidden room with help from the station's AI, Caro tracked a location mentioned in the file logs. Subsection 13X, Level 91. A place sealed long ago, marked as a power backup vault. But the AI confirmed, no power system was ever placed there. Caro took a lift down into the old levels of Unity Prime. Lights flickered. Dust floated in the air. Nobody had been down here in years. Forgotten voices. When Caro reached 13X, he found a sealed metal door. No guard, no cameras. He connected the human device to the lock. Click. The door opened. Inside, a small, cold room. Empty. Almost. A black box sat in the center. He opened it slowly. Inside were recordings, audio files, video clips, physical ID tags. He played one. A voice came through. It was a child, a human girl, crying. They said I was special. They said I would help the galaxy. But it hurts. Please. I want to go home. Another file. They watch me sleep. They talk in alien words. I don't like the needles. Caro stepped back. He had found proof. Real, raw, terrible proof. This room had held secrets for 30 years, and now it could destroy the Alliance. Trouble above back. In the main hall, panic had returned. Earth ships were moving, not attacking, but repositioning. They now circled the station fully. Ambassadors demanded answers. Alliance security teams began blocking human data links. They're trying to hide something, someone shouted. Others begged for peace. Then a warning blared through the speakers. Unregistered data transfer detected. Source, Unity, Prime lower decks. They were tracking Caro. The chase Caro ran. He clutched the backup device tightly as security bots activated. A red light blinked above every door. Unauthorized historian movement. Detain and question. He ducked into a side tunnel and took an old emergency stairwell back up to level 82. A small cargo bay. Empty. He connected to a private signal. There was only one way to stop this cover-up. He sent the file directly to the Earth fleet. Earth responds. Seconds later, the stars outside changed. Earth's warships powered up again. But this time, they broadcast live. A hologram of Admiral Cassandra Wren appeared in the center of the station's great hall. Her eyes were hard, her voice calm. We have waited long enough. We now hold the complete records. You lied. You covered up the deaths of our children. No more silence. She stepped forward in the projection. We demand the arrest of everyone responsible. Turn them over, or we take them. A long silence followed. No one moved. Then a voice came from the Alliance leadership. We had no knowledge of this. These are old crimes. Wren didn't blink. Then give us the ones who committed them. Prove you are better now. The Alliance reacts inside Unity Prime. The room exploded with voices. Some members of the Alliance shouted, "She's right." Others cried out, "This is blackmail." But the recordings were now everywhere. Leaked by Earth, shown on Outer Colony, networks, even playing inside homeworld schools. Billions were watching, many were angry, and not at Earth, at the Alliance, at the lie. Caro steps forward. Caro returned to the command dome. He raised his historian badge. I found the room, he said loudly. I found the files, I heard the voices. He placed the human device in front of the entire council. You can't deny it anymore. People listened. Some cried. Some turned their heads in shame. A fracture begins. The Alliance was no longer united. 3 smaller races, the Brennians, the Scar, and the Talari, immediately sent messages of support to Earth. They had also lost people in the past, and now they wanted answers. Caro watched as Unity Prime, the great peace station, started to break apart, not by weapons but by truth, and Earth had not fired a single shot. Ending suspense of Part 3 in space, the Terran warships turned slowly, positioning. Not for attack, but for landing. Admiral Wren gave one final message. You have 24 hours. Bring the guilty to justice, or we will. Caro looked out the window again. The festival had started with lights and music. Now, only shadows remained. But, maybe, just maybe, those shadows could bring the truth into the light. The galaxy held its breath. Earth's fleet surrounded Unity Prime like a silent storm. Inside the station, leaders of the Galactic Alliance were divided. Some wanted peace, others wanted to fight. But time was running out. The 24-hour deadline from Admiral Wren had begun, and everyone was asking the same question. Would this end in justice or war? Truth echoes across the stars. The recordings from the hidden room, proof of the human children who were tested on, forgotten, and buried in history, were now broadcast to every major colony. Thousands of planets had seen the files. Many were shocked. Many were angry. Some were scared, not of Earth, but of their own leaders. In the streets of high cities on distant worlds, people protested. Screens played the voices of the lost children. Crowds demanded action. On Unity Prime, the station's own guard started asking questions. Even some Alliance officers removed their badges. Inside the Alliance Council, High Chancellor Velran of the Alliance stood at the center of the council chamber. His hand shook, though he tried to appear calm. This is not the work of the Alliance, he said. It was a mistake from the past. A small group acted alone. Admiral Thora of the Scar pounded her fist on the table. Then name them. Show us you are not protecting them. Velran hesitated. The silence was loud. Then a voice came from the back. Counselor Jessrin, a tall alien from the Rulok species. I served on the ethics board during that time, she said quietly. We knew some tests were happening, but we were told they were safe, that Earth gave permission. A pause. No, Caro said firmly, stepping forward. Earth never gave permission. The children were taken. They trusted you. Jezran lowered her head. No one spoke. The chamber was collapsing from the inside, a dangerous suggestion. General Zolar of the Vresh Dominion stood next. His voice was hard. We cannot hand over Alliance citizens to Earth, he said. That would make us weak. Justice is not weakness, answered Admiral Thora. If we surrender now, what next? Zolar continued. Will Earth demand more? Will they become our judges? Caro spoke again. They haven't fired a single weapon. The only thing Earth has done so far is tell the truth. But Zolar had supporters. Some feared Earth's power more than they feared the truth, and that fear could lead to blood. Earth's last transmission. With 10 hours left on the countdown, Earth sent one more message. Admiral Wren stood again before the galaxy, her voice steady. We have no interest in war. We have no interest in conquest. We want only what any parent would want, justice for our children. She paused. You told us peace meant accountability. Prove it. Give us the ones responsible. Let them stand. Trial? Or show us what kind of alliance this truly is. She looked directly into the camera. You have until the final hour. After that, we act. The message ended. The countdown continued. Caro's Discovery Caro returned to the lower levels of Unity Prime. There was one room he hadn't searched, an old databank marked for demolition. Inside, he found a box with old diplomatic recordings. In one file, he saw something shocking. A younger High Chancellor Velran, meeting with a group of scientists, smiling, signing a paper. The title, Experimental Genetics Initiative, Tier 1 Human Subjects. Caro's chest tightened. The Chancellor had known, not just known, he had approved it. The quiet rebellion, Caro moved quickly. He copied the file and sent it, first to Earth, then to every major news source in the system. Within minutes, it was everywhere. The truth had a name now. Chancellor Velran, a leader, a liar, a betrayer of peace. Collapse of control inside the council chamber, everything fell apart. Velrun tried to speak, but no one listened. Alliance guards took off their helmets. Some pointed weapons at Velrun's security. Fights broke out. Screams echoed through the chamber, but no human had fired a shot. No Terran soldier had stepped on the station. The Alliance was falling by its own hand, and still, the clock ticked. A shocking move. With 2 hours left on the countdown, something no one expected happened. The Brennian ambassador walked up to Velran and placed him in handcuffs. "This is no longer a debate," she said. "The people demand justice. We will deliver it." Alliance leaders looked at each other, silent, stunned. Finally, Admiral Thora nodded. One by one, more hands went up in agreement. Justice had won. Earth's answer message was sent to Earth. The Alliance would turn over Velrun and 5 others from the Ethics Board. They would face trial before a united galactic court with Earth present. The fleet waited. Minutes passed. Then Earth answered. Accepted. The warships powered down. Weapons offline, shields lowered, no shots fired, just silence and peace. Real peace. The final image Caro stood by the viewing glass as Unity Prime turned slowly in orbit. Shuttles left the station, carrying the prisoners. The stars looked the same as before, but everything had changed, he whispered to himself. Truth saved us, not weapons. The trial was broadcast across the galaxy. Billions watched as the captured Alliance leaders, Chancellor Velrun, Ethics Director Juna Lore, Dr. Revnax, and others, stood in the center of a massive courtroom built on Earth's moon. The place was simple but powerful. Above them flew the flags of every race that joined Earth in the demand for justice. And at the front of the chamber stood Admiral Cassandra Wren, watching, silent. She had brought warships. But in the end, truth had been the most powerful weapon. Now, Earth would let justice speak. The survivors speak one by one. The surviving parents and family members of the children spoke. A woman from Detroit, a father from Lagos, a brother from a Martian colony. Their voices were calm but full of pain. They took my son and said he would study at a special school. He never came home. My daughter wrote letters. She begged to come back. They stopped sending them. She disappeared. The court listened. The galaxy listened. The Alliance defends itself. Velran, still proud, tried to speak. It was war. We did what we had to. But the judge interrupted. There was no war when the children disappeared, only peace. And you broke it, Juna Lore cried. She begged for mercy. Dr. Revnax stayed silent. His eyes were cold. He had no apology. The evidence was clear. Files, videos, voices of the children. Even Alliance citizens called for punishment. The verdict on the 7th day of the trial, the ruling was announced. Guilty. Velrun and the other leaders were sentenced to life in isolation, not death because Earth had chosen a different path. We will not become like them, Admiral Wren said. Let them live and remember. Let them watch what peace truly looks like. The courtroom was quiet. Then a single human child, one who had survived the experiments, walked up and looked at Velran. I forgive you, he whispered, but I'll never forget. And with that, it was over. Unity restored. Across the galaxy, something strange began to happen. Nations that once feared Earth now admired them. The Terrans had every reason to destroy Unity Prime, but they didn't. Instead, they asked for justice, for truth, for their children. That kind of strength. It inspired others. New alliances formed. Old ones healed. The Unity Accords were rewritten, with Earth leading the way. This time, the peace was real. Caro's message, Caro, the historian who uncovered the truth, was offered a place at Earth's Grand Archives, but he declined. Instead, he traveled to the former lab worlds. He built small monuments in honor of the children. On one of them, he wrote in both human and Alliance tongue, "Truth is the only shield that never fails." People came from all over to visit. Some cried, some left gifts, Some stood silently and remembered. Wren's final words back aboard her flagship, Admiral Wren stood alone. She looked out at the stars. Her voice, calm and quiet, was recorded as her last statement before retirement. We didn't want war. We just wanted our children to come home. In the end, we didn't fire the first shot, and we didn't need to. The truth did the fighting for us. She looked down. But if anyone tries this again, they'll see how far Earth can really go. Epilogue. A warning in the void in. A dark part of the galaxy, a small ship drifted through empty space. Inside, a single figure sat in silence. It was Dr. Vetra Lin, the missing scientist who escaped back in Part 5. She had erased her records, changed her face, stolen a new identity, but she kept one thing from the old world, a vial of DNA, human, modified, dangerous. She whispered to herself, "They think it's over, but the real experiment is just beginning." And with that, she jumped into hyperspace, destination unknown. The end.